Transparency is always best, and today I want to confess that I have a crack problem. Oh, not what you're thinking. We're going to be looking at scoops today. Stick around. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop. As you can see, we have a huge crack in the Bondo on the door here, and there's another little one down here. Today we're going to tear into this and see exactly what's going on. I know what happened because I know the history of the car, but I'm just going to see how they did the work in there and explain what happened and stuff like that. So I'm going to tell you the story, and then we're going to get a grinder and dig into it. So at some point in the history of this car, when Brad owned it, this door got whipped around and bent really bad, and it got taken into the body shop and fixed. And they put some mud in there, and that was 20 years ago. And so it's held up all right, but in the last couple of years, it started to crack, and well, the crack is getting worse, and it's at a point now where the car deserves to have a little attention paid to it. So let's get you up on the tripod, and let's kind of dig into this and see exactly what we're dealing with. I guess rather than making a mess with a grinder, let's start with a knife. Brian Adams said, "It cuts like a knife, and it feels so right." Ooh, we got Bondo. Wow, lots of Bondo. So it goes back quite a ways into here. Oh yeah, there's a lot of muck in there. Let me get a hammer and just kind of pound some of this out of here and see what we got. I have two completely solid rust-free doors for one of these cars, so that may be the way we go. But my objective today is just to kind of see where we're at. Wow, it's about 1/4 inch thick in there. Okay, it's sticking pretty good in there, so I don't want to get too carried away. And let's see where we're at up here. Yeah, I think we'll be okay to grind there. Definitely need to go forward. Okay. You can see where they drilled and tried pounding it out and stuff like that. Typical body shop stuff there. Let's get a big band-aid just put over that. Nobody will know. Nobody will know. Nobody will know. So basically what we've got is this door's got mud in it from probably all the way up into here. I know it's cracked down here, so the whole front of this door probably back into here, I would guess, has got mud in it. The 74 Sassy's got a really good 73 door on it, and fenders, doors and fenders both. I've got another set of 74 doors upstairs. I can't remember if 73 and 74 are the same. I've got to look at that because I'm not sure the interior panels and the latches are the same. They can be converted, but the simplest thing to do would be to grab the one off of Sassy and throw this one on Sassy until we get to finishing that car, and then put the 74 doors back on it. So what I'm going to do today is completely the wrong thing, but I just want to, like, I drive this car everywhere and people rave, that car's so cool, and it's got that great big crack in it, and it didn't used to be there, but it's been 20 some years this has been in there. It just was a quick and dirty way they fixed it at the body shop. They didn't do it right, but no criticism. I mean, it's just what body shops do. So I guess I spent enough time in body shops to know that this is not abnormal. Nobody got ripped off or anything like that. It's just was a way to fix things Uh, yeah, I just never mind. But anyway, but I think what I want to do is just I'm going to build some mud up and kind of smooth this out a little bit and kind of put it back without the crack. I'm not going to paint it green because I priced the paint 2 years ago. It was $50 for a pint of just the base coat. I'm sure it's even more than that now. I'm gonna need a pint, maybe more, to do the whole door when I do that door. But yeah, so let me go get some bondage. Yeah, I'm not going to bother putting tiger hair. Normally I'd put tiger hair down and then I'd put Bondo on and all that stuff. I ain't going to muck with that. I just want to get it, reasonable, filled back in with no crack, and then just a primer spot. Just a quick fix. I can already hear the comments. You're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. Of course I'm not doing it right. Part of it, like I said, the majority of this was just wanting to see where we're at in here. I suspected this is what it was. When that crack started getting as big as it was, I was pretty sure that we were dealing with a pretty good size patch of Bondo in here. But I needed to see it in order to clarify my own thinking on where exactly I was going with this, and how I was going to proceed. If I was just going to fix this door, if I was going to replace it. Yeah, I know. You got the doors. Why didn't you just replace it? Well, what's less work, right? Y'all know by now I'm pretty good with fixing metal. And could this be fixed? Yep, absolutely it could. Is it worth fixing? No, probably not. Am I going to get rid of this door? No. Will I keep it for the future that if I need one, I can fix it? Absolutely. But my goal here is just to kind of, mud her back up, and then she won't have a crack, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, this is just first coat. I'm not worried about trying to get body contours in it and anything like that at this point. I'm just getting it kind of, put back together again. So, all right, we're going to let this cure up, and we'll block that out, and then we'll take a second coat on it. Okay, it's pretty good, so I'm going to cheese grate it first. Just to try to get our contours close. We'll come back with a DA and smooth everything out, but just trying to get somewhat reasonable of a body line in there. Again, I don't care if it's perfect. That's not the point of this. Okay, so our body line comes across here like so. Okay, it's helpful to know. Bondo Billy would be proud of me. This edge becomes challenging because, see, there's another line down here, but we're basically avoiding that one because I don't want to get into the fender. So it provides some unique stuff there, but it's okay. Normally you'd be going across the whole thing like this, but I can't because of this. So okay, got a lump in here to get rid of, and then we can get our sanding block out and whittle away at it. Okay, yeah, let me get a small block. I had a big block I was going to use, but I think I want to use a small block. Big block's about this long. I don't want to get into all of this. I've already scratched it a little here and there. Again, I'm not that worried about it, but I'm trying to minimize the impact here. So let me go get a hand block about so big, or my DA or something, and we'll get this dressed up a little better. So I just worked that up with a piece of hand sandpaper. I thought the camera was on, but it wasn't. Sorry about that. So now what I'm going to do is just go through and just clean up some of these little deep spots. Just because the Bondo will stick a little better if I clean those up a little bit. Okay, so I'm ready to do a second coat now. Actually, not too bad. Our edge is not bad. We're going to end up with a primer spot, like probably like this on here, but it ain't going to be perfect, but it's going to be done. So it'll look a whole lot better than a great big crack and rust water running out of it. And it will help that metal from getting destroyed underneath as well. So let me go mix up some more mud, and we'll be right back after a brief word from nobody. Okay, we'll try to get a little smoother coat this time. Okay. Keeping in mind that body line that's there as well. Normally, like I said, I would be strutting this way out, but that's not what we're trying to do here, so it's all good. All right, so our body line is right there. So I'm going to come along there like so, and then come along here like so, above there a little bit, come down to it. This is not the best squeegee in the world, but it works. You don't have to have the best Bondo squeegee in the shop, but it helps. Okay, good. So we kind of got a body line in there again. We're above this body line for sure. Get my mud out of the door crack. Again, cheap and dirty. It's just really is a form of sculpture when you think about it. A little thick down in there, so we'll bring it back up. Doing this outside is probably not the wisest thing, but I don't feel like rearranging the shop to get it all in there. So, and it's beautiful out today. Okay, there we go. That's not bad. That'll be decent for a second coat. So I got to dig around and find the block that I was looking for, because I did that last by hand, but I'd like to get it a little bit flatter. So I'm going to go find that while this is drying, and then we'll be back. Okay, so we got just a little bit of low spots in here, but overall it's pretty good. I'm going to switch over now to using glaze rather than Bondo. Glaze sand's a little easier, and that'll help get these little imperfections out. Again, we're not looking to make it perfect. I'm not expecting it to be perfectly flat. We're going to feather edge it real nice. We got work to do there yet. We'll do that. Some of that with the DA, some of that will be done with the primer, but it's making progress, and that's the main thing. So I'm going to go get my glaze, and we'll get this done up, and then yeah, it's got a low spot there for sure, and you can see the color differences. So but yeah, I'm pretty tickled, and like I said, we're going to end up with, you know, probably primer, you know, like up and around all the way up into here, but good enough for now. Okay, so my camera died and I didn't get to film it, but I just finished it off, DA'd it down and got it masked up here now to spray it with some primer. So we're gonna, I don't have a lot of primer. I've got enough to touch it up for now, and we'll get an idea on how bad it really looks, but I need to get some sandable primer. I could mix them up in the gun, but I don't want to. So, and I'm just going to feather edge this for now, and then we'll do a better job once we get the sandable primer. But I want to get a coat of primer on this and just see kind of what things look like here. So. Pretty happy with that. That turned out pretty decent. I'll let that dry. We'll give it another coat, and then we'll get some sandable primer on it. But even the body line it's not great, but again, for what it is, I think it's better than a great big Bondo crack, and that was the whole point. So if you didn't watch this from the beginning, I'll say it again. This is not a proper fix. This is a Band-Aid. And I was either thinking about just putting a big Band-Aid on the door as a joke, but I decided, we'll go ahead and do a quickie on this because I've got perfectly rust-free drawers on the 74 and another perfectly set of rust-free, dent-free doors upstairs. I'll throw one right on here, but there's a lot of work to do and I don't have that kind of time, and I just really didn't like that water getting down in there all the time. So winner, chicken dinner. We'll let that dry. We'll shoot it again, and then Beck just got home and we've got to head out. So we'll be getting done with this real soon. There we go. We got it sprayed one more time. Good enough. I'm going to take the paper and tape off so we can get it out in the sun, let it dry, because Becky and I are taking this car. I feel like I'm back in the 80s again, where I'm quickly getting something done so that we can take the car and go somewhere. One thing I am going to do is feather edge this just a little bit so that our spots that are like that are not quite as visible. Not that I care that much, but you know, I'd rather it look like a primer spot than a bunch of sanded spots is what I'm saying. So it's a little camouflage. Didn't mean to get that over on the got it on the fender over there. We'll have to wipe that off with some lacquer. I didn't bother reverse masking it, so it is what it is. Okay. Get it out in the sun, let that finish up drying, and then we'll get the sandable primer for another time and coat that with that, and then we'll sand it down a couple times, and that'll be good. Not too shabby. Body line is sort of there. I think I'm off a little bit on it. We can sand that into it a little bit better. We can do a little more work if we need to. But yeah, it looks better than a big crack in the door anyway. So at least it looks like it's being worked on. Oh, yeah, the body line is off quite a bit. But you'd be amazed what you can do with primer to sand a line back where it needs to be, because the line is kind of there, and some of it is a little bit deceiving because this is some of that's just because it's still wet, but this was just literally this is not a sandable, so it's good enough. And we'll get some sandable primer, just a rattle can, and get her touched up more and kind of blend it in a little bit better and so forth. But it looks a whole lot better than that great big Bondo crack. So need to let that dry for a couple minutes, and then I got to hose the car off just a little bit. But in the meantime, I will get stuff cleaned up in the shop. So yeah, I'm not unhappy with that. Like I said, I wouldn't be happy with that if that was a permanent fix, but just to it's a whole lot better than a big crack, so that's good enough. We'll do the research on these doors and find out if 73, 74 doors are the same. I don't remember. I had a set of 74 upstairs, 73 on the 74. If they're the same, we may pull the driver's door down that was on Sassy. If they're not, we will swap out the one from Scoops onto Sassy, which is what I'm leaning towards anyway. For now, just to keep the hole plugged, and we'll be getting on that car again at a later time. But that's going to do it for this. Cheap, dirty, doing it all wrong, whatever you want to call it. But a little bit step forward on that I'm pleased with, so that no more water is getting down behind there and continuing to destroy that. That was my main purpose. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for being here. Like, share, subscribe, merchandise down in the comments. You want to send me stuff, my email address is down there. Shoot me a message. I love hearing from you guys. We'll catch you later.